As a journalist, it's my responsibility to represent their point of view.
Of course.
To put a microphone in front of them and say, what is your opinion of this situation?
Right.
And then report back. But we're not allowed to do that. I'm being told you're not allowed to get that side of the story. And if you report that side of the story, we're going to put you in jail.
So I do think that most journalists obey because they fear social sanction. They fear someone saying, you're a Putin puppet or whatever.
Oh, I hate that.
But in your case, you actually saw an administration try to apply the force of law. Like, we'll put you in jail. So that's what I think is different about your story. It's not just like people are embarrassed to be seen as pro-Russia. They were like, no, you violate the order and you're going to prison. Yeah, but like it's gotten to the point where that kind of lynch mob mentality is so entrenched in the United States that even to suggest that someone is close to this boogeyman is enough to shut it down.
But
and that's a leash. What they're doing is controlling your behavior. From a geopolitical standpoint, we've really, really squandered American power to the point where we have less power than most Americans understand, and it's really scary. I want America to be powerful. I want us to be able to project power if we need to. I want us to be able to protect our interests. I want us to stay prosperous and free. And the degree to which we've like kind of wrecked ourselves is not obvious to people, and it makes me want to cry when I think about it. The people in charge are terrible at building things. They've built nothing. Our country's collapsing. Our infrastructure is garbage. Our population is dying. Okay, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
I grieve over that. I want this country to be prosperous, free, and happy. I want my kids to get married and be able to afford houses. I want them to have my grandchildren. I mean, these are like basic desires. The people running it have no ability to do any of that, to help with any of that, to actually help the population of the United States. All they can do is destroy. And how do they pull that off without like sparking a revolution, a much needed revolution in their country? They do it through propaganda. And I have been an instrument of that throughout my life unknowingly. A propaganda that lies to people in a way that's so aggressive and all-encompassing. You don't know that it's dark because there's no light. You have nothing to compare it to. You have no idea. Your worldview is so controlled that you have no freaking idea what reality is. You know, I mean, of course, I was so grateful, by the way, because I will always, give Fox the credit it deserves, a lot of credit for being kind to me, which they always were, of not really getting in my business and of, giving me all that freedom for so long. And I'm grateful to the Murdoch family for that. But, clearly foreign policy, neocon foreign policy is the red line. They don't care what your views on transgenderism are, even abortion or gun control or tax policy, all that stuff that we think is important. They don't think that's important.
Go ahead and do that. Right.
Go ahead and do that. Yeah. Fight amongst yourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a race war. Great. Have we used to have a race war.
Oh, that's so true.
No, it's totally true. Have another race war.
Yeah.
And they just don't care. What they do care about is the ability to keep the money flowing and the coffins filling. Like they love to kill and they worship money and death. And that's just a fact. And I know them because I'm from there. So race stuff was like, most Americans do not hate each other because of race. Despite the best efforts of our leaders to get us to hate each other, man, they have tried so hard.
And most Americans don't want to hate Russia.
At all.
Right.
But again, it's North Korea.
But it's like you have to.
You don't even know what you don't know.
Right.
And I didn't even know until, I'm a huge believer in, just looking at stuff and, smelling stuff and, what's the obvious reality. You can tell me any story you want, but let me go see it. And that's why I've traveled so much. And it was just so clear when I went to Moscow, I don't want to move there or whatever. I'm not Russian, but, you've been lying to me about this in a really big way. And if you've lied to me about that, what else have you been lying to me about? And the real battle that has, it's never changed for the last 2,000 years was between East and West. It's between worldviews. And you have the Christian West and you've got the non-Christian East. And the truth is Russia is really part of the Christian West. And so anyone who's trying to make Russia into the main enemy of the United States is trying to divide and destroy the Christian. In general, I think the destructive impulse is satanic, and I think it really is a dualism. Either you're creating or you're destroying. Yeah. And if you look around and you're like, the outcome of all these different adventures is just purely destruction, I think you can say you're serving evil. I think it's honestly that God creates, Satan destroys. I'm sorry to get all heavy on you, but I think it's just very basic.